Chosen one, have you ever wondered why God keeps separating you, pressing you, and calling you deeper while others remain comfortable and untouched? If that question stirred your spirit, listen carefully. This message is not for everyone. If you do not walk the divine path, if you mock God's voice, or if you seek comfort over calling, this video is not for you. Only those truly chosen will remain. Only true followers of God will feel the weight of these words. Chosen one, I am speaking directly to you. This message has reached you at the exact appointed time. Not early, not late. Right now. What you are about to hear will change how you see your calling, your struggles, and your silence. Stay until the end, because many fail God's choosing, and tonight you will understand why. Scripture says in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." And in Matthew 22:14, "For many are called, but few are chosen." These are not poetic words. They are spiritual laws. If this message resonates, comment only one number. 777. Do not explain. Just obey. Before we continue, subscribe to Divine Calling, tap the bell icon, and share this message with someone who may be chosen but unaware. Chosen one, God does not choose casually, and most people fail this test before it even begins. Listen closely. This is for you. Do not delay. The truth most never hear. God does not choose by appearance. Listen carefully, because this is where most people are deceived. Generation after generation has been taught the wrong idea about how God chooses. People assume God looks for talent, for visibility, for strength, for moral perfection, or for spiritual reputation. They believe God chooses the loudest worshiper, the most gifted speaker, the most disciplined believer, or the one who looks holy on the outside. That belief is false, and it has caused many to disqualify themselves before the process even begins. God has never chosen by appearance. Never. Scripture makes this painfully clear, yet people ignore it because truth offends pride. In 1 Samuel 16:7 it is written, "The Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." This is not symbolic language. It is a spiritual principle. God's choosing begins in places no one claps for and no one can see. God's selection process is internal, hidden, and deeply uncomfortable. He does not announce it. He does not explain it. He does not decorate it with honor. In fact, when God begins choosing someone, their life often looks like it is falling apart. Their confidence is shaken. Their relationships shift. Their sense of identity is stripped. This is because God does not choose what is already formed. He chooses what He can form. Human logic says, "Show me, then I will follow." God says, "Follow me, then I will show you." That is why divine choosing contradicts human reasoning. People want confirmation before commitment. God demands commitment before confirmation. This is where many fail. They want visibility before obedience, clarity before surrender, and reward before responsibility. Being chosen always comes before being revealed. Always. God hides His chosen long before He unveils them. He works in silence because noise breeds pride, and pride destroys calling. Many people think they are ready for public purpose, but God sees private immaturity. So He delays. He conceals. He withdraws. Not to punish, but to protect the calling. Understand this clearly. God does not choose the impressive. He chooses the yielded. He does not look for perfection. He looks for availability. He does not ask who is the strongest. He asks who will obey when it costs them everything. In Isaiah 55:8, God says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways." That includes how He selects His servants. Many fail simply because they expect honor before obedience. They want the title without the training. They want the calling without the crushing. They want the crown without the cross. But God never works that way. Obedience is the currency of the chosen, and obedience that waits for recognition is not obedience at all. Look closely at history and scripture. God bypasses the obvious choice again and again. He chooses the overlooked, the underestimated, the misunderstood. Not because they are weak, but because they are teachable. Strength can be built, skill can be learned, but humility must be chosen. As a seasoned spiritual teacher, let me correct this misunderstanding plainly. Being chosen does not mean being special in the way the world defines special. It means being set apart for burden, responsibility, and sacrifice. In Romans 9:16 it is written, "It does not depend on human will or effort, but on God's mercy." That truth humbles the proud and comforts the obedient. If you feel unseen, uncelebrated, or delayed, do not assume you are forgotten. It may be the very evidence that God is working deeply within you. Divine choosing is not loud, it is precise. And those who understand this law stop chasing appearance and start submitting to process. The first test: separation before elevation. Now understand this truth clearly, because this is the first major test every chosen one must face, and most fail right here. Separation always comes before elevation. There is no exception. If God has chosen you, He will remove you before He reveals you. Not because you are rejected, but because you are reserved. Every chosen one goes through a season where familiar voices grow silent, relationships feel strained, and places that once felt safe no longer fit. This is not coincidence. This is divine strategy. God separates before He strengthens. He isolates before He instructs. He pulls you away from noise so He can speak without competition. People misunderstand separation because they confuse it with abandonment. They assume if God was truly with them, life would feel connected, supported, and socially affirming. That assumption is wrong. God often removes His chosen from crowds because crowds dilute obedience. Too many voices weaken discernment. Too much access breeds compromise. In Scripture, this pattern is undeniable. Look at the wilderness seasons. Look at the hidden years. God consistently removes His chosen from public view before public purpose. In Exodus, the wilderness was not punishment. It was preparation. In Hosea 2:14, God says He will lead His people into the wilderness and speak to them there. Not in the crowd, not in the city, in isolation. Most people fail this test because they crave belonging more than obedience. They fear being alone. They fear being misunderstood. They fear losing access, approval, and familiarity. So they resist separation. They chase connection when God is calling for consecration. And in doing so, they delay their elevation. Hear this without emotion, because this is instruction, not comfort. Loneliness is not your enemy in this season. Distraction is. Confusion is not proof you are lost. It is proof you are being rewired. God strips external support so you learn internal reliance. He removes human affirmation so His voice becomes unmistakable. The pain you feel during separation is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to detach you. Detach you from dependency. Detach you from validation. Detach you from identities that cannot travel into your next assignment. Separation exposes what you leaned on instead of God. In Genesis 12, Abraham had to leave his country, his people, and his father's house before God showed him the land. Notice the order. Leave first, then revelation. Many want the promise while still clinging to the familiar. God does not operate that way. Understand this as a spiritual law. God never elevates what He has not first isolated. When He separates you, He is not pushing you away. He is pulling you closer. He is narrowing your focus. He is refining your obedience. He is preparing you for weight you could not carry in your previous environment. Chosen one, if you are experiencing distance, silence, or withdrawal, do not panic. Do not chase replacements. Do not force reconnection. Let the separation do its work. This season is not about feeling good. It is about becoming ready. Separation is not abandonment. It is alignment. And those who pass this test stop asking, "Why am I alone?" and start understanding, "Why am I being prepared?" The second test. Obedience without explanation. This is the test that removes the majority. Not separation, but obedience without explanation. Many can endure isolation for a season. Many can tolerate silence for a while. But very few can obey God when he refuses to explain himself. This is where chosen ones are truly revealed and where most quietly fall away. Understand this clearly. God rarely explains his instructions to the chosen. He gives direction, not details. He gives commands, not comfort. This is intentional. Explanation creates dependence on understanding. God is not trying to raise people who move by logic alone. He is forming servants who move by trust. In Proverbs 3:5 it is written, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." This is not advice, it is a requirement. The moment you demand clarity before obedience, you have placed your intellect above God's authority. That is disobedience disguised as wisdom. Obedience must always come before clarity. God does not reveal the full path because revelation without maturity produces pride. He gives the next step only. And for the chosen, that next step often looks unreasonable, illogical, and uncomfortable. This is where ego rises. Ego asks, why? Ego says, this doesn't make sense. Ego wants control, and ego disqualifies many. Logic is another stumbling block. People assume that if God is leading, everything should align neatly and be easily explained. That assumption is false. Divine instruction often contradicts human logic. In Hebrews 11:8, Abraham obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. Obedience came first. Understanding came later. Fear also disqualifies many. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being judged. Fear of losing security. Fear of stepping out without guarantees. God does not remove fear before obedience. He expects obedience in the presence of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is movement despite it. And then there is impatience. Chosen ones often struggle here. They want quick results, immediate confirmation, instant validation. But God works slowly because depth cannot be rushed. Those who obey only when results are visible are not obeying God. They are obeying outcomes. Chosen ones are often misunderstood during this test, even by spiritual people, especially by spiritual people. When you obey God without explanation, others will question your discernment, your motives, even your sanity. They will quote scripture at you while missing the spirit behind it. This is part of the test. Approval cannot be your compass. If this word is striking your spirit, pause for a moment and comment only one number, 444. Do not explain it. Let obedience be simple. Here is the hidden truth. Obedience does not activate comfort, it activates alignment. When you obey, things do not always get easier, but they get ordered. Resistance increases because alignment threatens disorder. Do not misinterpret opposition as failure. Often, it is confirmation. In John 14:23, Jesus said that those who love him will obey his word. Love is proven through obedience, not emotion. God is not moved by intentions, he responds to action. Boldly hear this correction. Partial obedience is disobedience. Delayed obedience is disobedience. Obedience that requires consensus is disobedience. God is not negotiating with you, he is leading you. Those who pass this test stop needing explanations to move. They recognize God's voice, and that is enough. And when alignment is complete, clarity always follows. But only after obedience has done its work. The hidden fire. Why God allows suffering in the chosen. This is the truth many do not want to hear, yet every chosen one must understand it. Suffering in your life is not accidental. It is not random. It is not a sign that God has turned away from you. For the chosen, suffering is intentional. It is measured. It is permitted with precision. God does not waste pain, and he does not assign pressure without purpose. Most people believe suffering means something has gone wrong. That belief is shallow. For the chosen, suffering means something is being made right. God allows fire because fire reveals what cannot survive the next level. Comfort hides weakness. Pressure exposes it. And exposure is the beginning of transformation. Pain burns away pride first. Pride is subtle. It hides behind talent, intelligence, self-reliance, and past victories. God uses suffering to dismantle the illusion that you can do this without Him. He strips the chosen of false confidence so true dependence can be formed. Until pride is burned away, power cannot be trusted. Suffering also destroys unhealthy dependency. Many lean on people, systems, routines, and identities that cannot follow them into divine purpose. God removes these supports not to harm you, but to free you. When everything familiar collapses, God becomes the only foundation left. That is not cruelty. That is alignment. False identity cannot survive fire. Many think they know who they are, but God knows who they must become. Suffering exposes masks. It removes borrowed strength. It reveals whether your faith is inherited, performed, or owned. In Job, everything was stripped, not to destroy Job, but to reveal him. And what was revealed could carry restoration. Many leave God during hardship because they misinterpret the season. They assume difficulty means disapproval, so they retreat. They compromise, they numb themselves, they seek escape instead of endurance. In doing so, they walk away from the very process meant to prepare them. Calling abandoned under pressure is calling forfeited. You must understand the difference between punishment and preparation. Punishment comes from judgment. Preparation comes from trust. God does not punish His chosen with suffering. He prepares them through it. In Hebrews 12:11 it says, "Discipline is painful for a moment, but it produces righteousness later." That pain is not rejection, it is refinement. If you feel attacked, delayed, or pressed on every side, hear this clearly. Pressure is not proof you are failing. It is often proof you are advancing. God trusts the chosen with pressure because pressure reveals capacity. Weak foundations collapse under weight. Strong ones are revealed. Fire does not destroy gold. It purifies it. In 1 Peter 1:7, faith is tested by fire so it may be found genuine. God refines what He intends to use. He tests what He plans to entrust with influence, authority, and impact. Do not romanticize suffering, but do not resent it either. This is not a season to ask, "Why me?" It is a season to ask, "What is being formed in me?" God is not impressed by how loudly you praise Him when life is easy. He watches how you endure when everything shakes. Chosen one, God allows suffering because He sees what is on the other side of it. He sees the weight you will carry, the people you will influence, the responsibility you will bear, and He knows who you must become to survive it. The fire is not against you, it is for you, and when its work is complete, what remains will be unshakable. The final seal. Why most people fail God's choosing. Now we come to the final seal, and this must be spoken plainly. Most people do not fail because they were not chosen. They fail because they did not endure the choosing. God's call is real, but so is human resistance. And this is where responsibility replaces emotion. The first reason many fail is simple. They desire comfort more than calling. God's choosing disrupts routine, convenience, and familiarity. It requires discipline when others rest. It demands restraint when others indulge. Many agree with God in theory, but retreat when obedience costs them peace. Comfort becomes their idol, and idols always compete with obedience. The second reason is fear of isolation. God's path for the chosen is narrow by design. Fewer voices, fewer validations, fewer companions. Many cannot endure being misunderstood or unsupported. They equate isolation with failure and rush back into noise for reassurance. But divine purpose cannot be sustained by public approval. Those who fear standing alone will never stand assigned. The third reason people fail is refusal to obey unseen instructions. God often speaks quietly and moves invisibly. He gives directions that do not come with applause, confirmation, or immediate results. Many hesitate. They delay. They ask for signs instead of acting on faith. In doing so, they miss timing. And in the spiritual realm, timing matters. Understand this clearly. Being chosen does not mean being forced. God does not override free will. He invites, He calls, He reveals, but He does not compel. You can walk away. You can ignore the promptings. You can choose familiarity over faith. God allows it. Calling is an opportunity, not a guarantee. Scripture confirms this without apology. In Matthew 22:14, it is written, "Many are called, but few are chosen." The calling is wide. The endurance is rare. Choosing is not about selection alone. It is about perseverance through the process. Spiritual forfeiture does not always look dramatic. Most do not openly renounce God. They simply grow passive. They become distracted. They compromise slowly. They stop listening. They settle. And one day they realize the urgency is gone. The sensitivity is dull. The fire is quiet. What was once heavy now feels distant. This is not said to frighten you. Fear does not produce obedience. Understanding does. God takes responsibility seriously. He entrusts purpose only to those disciplined enough to carry it. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-governance under divine authority. Surrender is the final requirement. Not partial surrender, not conditional surrender, full surrender. The kind that says, "Not my will, but yours," even when the outcome is unclear, even when the cost is high, even when no one understands. In Luke 9:62, it is written that no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom. That is not harsh. That is precise. Purpose demands forward focus. Chosen one, God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for faithfulness. He is not demanding speed. He is requiring endurance. Those who finish are not the strongest. They are the most surrendered. This is the final seal. God's choosing is real, but it must be honored daily. Those who treat it lightly lose it quietly. Those who carry it with reverence walk into fulfillment steadily. The question is no longer whether you are called. The question is whether you will endure what that call requires. Conclusion. Confirmation and call to stand. If you are still here, still listening, still steady in your spirit, then understand this clearly. This message was meant for you. It did not reach you by accident. Your struggles were not random. Your delays were not mistakes. Your separation, your pressure, your silent obedience, and your suffering were all part of a divine process shaping you for what lies ahead. Chosen one, stop questioning your path. Stop explaining yourself to people who were never assigned to understand you. Approval was never the requirement. Obedience was. You were not called to blend in. You were called to stand apart. And standing apart will always feel uncomfortable before it feels purposeful. Remain firm. Do not retreat when the weight increases. Do not compromise when the process feels slow. Walk forward even when affirmation is absent. God's voice does not compete with noise, and His direction does not require consensus. When you obey Him, alignment follows. When alignment is complete, clarity will come. Remember this truth and carry it with reverence. Divine choosing is not a reward. It is a responsibility. It is not about status. It is about service. God entrusts His chosen with weight because He sees endurance where others see weakness. He sees faithfulness where others see delay. In 2 Timothy 1:9, it is written that God saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His purpose. That purpose is still active in you. Do not abandon it now. Stand where God placed you. Walk as instructed. Endure as required. And trust that what He began, He will complete. This is why divine calling exists. Not to entertain, but to guide, sharpen, and strengthen those who are truly chosen. Stay aligned. Stay obedient. Your season is unfolding.